We are. We started Feb 1, um, but very limited. We're working out in small groups.
Mhm.
So it's I mean we'll take it, but it's still not the same. Still
It's
not the same.
still just the 5 people at a time. No
Yeah,
scrim.
correct. Yeah, so we split the team into 3 groups, and I'm there for all 3 groups. Well, I'm not supposed to be in the other two, to be honest. So I just kind of peek my head in and watch everyone. But yeah, so your normal what 3 hours will be now maybe 6. So
All right.
Coach, when you have, just want to ask about that. Just to start us off, when you have those kinds of practices where it's just 5 people and there are no scrimmages, what do you accomplish? Or what's how does that help you prepare?
actually that's a very good question. I think it turns out being pretty much just a skills workout. So what you accomplish during that type of practice is just individual work. So we're trying to improve everyone's game in certain areas. So we try to give them a little bit um of the movements that they're going to be doing during the game. But in all honesty, it's a lot of shooting, polishing your dribbling, and then you this is where coaches are creative, and they create they kind of create drills where it's kind of a breakdown of the offense that you run. So that's what I do, at least, so that the movement is familiar, so that when you kind of bring everyone all together, they're used to a certain movement, especially offensively. But yeah, it's really challenging. Guys really, after a while, they want to just start to go up and down, and they can't. So, but like I said, we'll take what we can get right now. So we're happy.
How long will that go on? When do they get to
Well,
scrimmage?
we're hoping that and it didn't. I think there was an announcement the other day, but we're hoping that it'll go to MGCQ in March. But if it doesn't, I don't know. MGCQ would have allowed us to go 10 players, so at least there's 10 guys out there, and we can go up and down a little bit. But if it's not going to happen, we have to just really wait and see. So yeah, guys are getting a little bored already.
Which I understand that you invited aspirants to try out with Alaska. May
Yeah,
I know who these players are?
I'm sure. We had Brian Enriquez come in. We had a big guy, 2 big guys. We had Santillan and we had Adamos come in, and we really like those two. So we're hoping that they'll be available, when we draft. But aside from that, also one more, we had Taylor Brown, but he kind of I mean, not seriously, but he kind of tweaked his hamstring. There's tightness in his hamstring, so he was only with us for about 4 days. And we're looking forward to seeing guys like Lapot and Muyang, maybe a couple point guards. I've been getting calls to ask if guys like RK Ilagan and Malesio can join our workout. So we're working on that for next week.
Which how challenging is it to not have the draft combine because of the situation, and then you have the tryouts, but you're only limited to those skills. This skills.
Yeah, yeah. So again, so it's different because and in all honesty, you can look great and awesome during the skills, but how are you when it's you're going up and down and it's an actual game or game like. But it is a challenge. But again, you gain a perspective when you invite them to practice. I like to get to know them a little bit. I like to talk to them and just see how they think, and know their background a little bit more. See how they view things, and then to really find out what their goals are. So I think those are all important aspects and good things that come out of the small group workouts. But again, you don't really get to see them live, but so you rely on, talking to a lot of people that they possibly played for, played against, and then a lot of video. So
Coach, is a big player you're going to be your priority given Vic's departure from the rookie, I
uh,
mean the draft?
correct. Yeah, I haven't been hesitant in saying that that's really our number one priority. We have to fill up a little bit of that gap. I think, and I said it yesterday when the trade happened, that I 100% have lots of trust and belief in the guys that we currently have. So, I expect Barkley to improve. I expect Rodney to step up even more. Abu, I think, is still, a lot to learn, and he still has a lot to show. And then we have a big guy in Taha who I think will help us, with more size. But yeah, I'm not hesitant to say that we have to fill up a little bit of that hole. There was already a gap with us losing Sunny. So Sunny Toss. So we're trying to get a big who I think can complement the way we play and who's, like everyone says, the best available talent.
Coach, just wanted to follow up on that. Does that mean a bigger responsibility for the young bigs? Like, I know Abu and Barkley had solid campaigns, but as I've said, they're still young. How much of a how big will the pressure be on them this coming season, knowing that they're essentially filling in the shoes of a Vic Manuel?
Right. Honestly, it's part of a player's career. They if you want more opportunities, you want more playing time, then you have to understand the responsibility that come along with that. So I think Abu's ready for that next step. He's still learning, but I think he's ready for that next step. And then we're happy with how, like you said, Barkley has been progressing. I think he's gonna show a better Barkley come this season. And then you just show them a little bit more trust, and you prepare them as much as you can so that they are ready for that next step. And yeah, like I said, we're believing in them, and then the games are about us playing together. We talk about that all the time. So as long as they do their job and they understand what their roles are, I think everyone should be in good position to do well.
Coach, for the past how many seasons with him being traded and Jaron signing that contract extension, is this also kind of a show of trust in a way for Jaron, for him to prove that he is the franchise now, he's the franchise player now?
That's absolutely how we look at it in a way. We are expecting, again, aside from the bigs to kind of step up and do more, we expect our young wings like Geron to play a bigger role also. So yes, we expect them to come in and to be able to understand that some of that responsibility will be put on his shoulders, and it's part of his growth, it's part of his development. Like I said, he's like Abu. I think he's ready for it, and we're going to show him some trust that he can handle it. So will he be perfect? Of course not. Will there be growing pains? Of course. But again, everyone has to start somewhere, right? So we expect them to do well, and then even guys like Maverick to also be a big part of what we're doing, and then for our shooters like Mike D and Robbie to continue growing and developing.
Which, just going back to Vic, we know that there was a contract issue, or there was a problem with the contract, but how Vic spent almost, he posted on his Instagram that he spent almost 7 years with the Aces, and it's a while. I mean, it's a long time. How
Right.
tough is
Yeah.
this? To come to this decision to part ways with a player like Vic, who's been with you a long time.
Right. It's really never easy. Vic has been a big part of the success and the opportunities to win championships here at Alaska, the last 7 years. When he told me that he wished to be traded, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little heartbreaking. We've kind of put him on a pedestal where he is our main guy and we rely on him, night in, night out. Could he be better in some other aspects? Of course. And that was where we try to talk to him about, how that relates to, the extension and how long of a contract you want and how much of a contract you're asking for. So that kind of plays together. And when it happened that he was asking for a trade, I knew commitment was already going to be an issue. So whether you try to spin it, whether you try to talk to him and, try to turn a corner somehow, some way, I think just by him requesting that, that already is a challenge, in regard to his commitment. So it was the best solution to try to move him. And, as you notice, it wasn't easy. It really took 6 weeks to, explore, talk to teams. Some offers fell off the table. Some offers we were waiting for. It didn't happen. Some we flat out just denied because it just wasn't, fair. My job is to make sure that, both parties are happy. So so like I said, with it happening yesterday with Phoenix, I think this gives us the best possible scenario for us also. And it allows him to have the fresh start that he's asking for. And so we just wish him well and hope things go well for him.
Coach,
That there are other offers. Why did you pick the
why Phoenix?
why Phoenix and why the picks?
Why Phoenix? Okay. So when you're going through offers and you're exploring trades, I think the number one thing that you have to really be mindful of and make sure that it becomes your priority is what you're getting out of it. So a lot of times, and it's only, I don't know if coaches will admit it, but sometimes you're like, no, I don't want to trade him here. I don't want to, send him there, and that's really part of the thought process and part of the consideration. But in this case, with it being so long, a lot of the trade offers, our first, second, priority or trades that we agreed with, they all fell off the table. So we were waiting actually for a couple of weeks for our first option, and we were excited about that. Hindi siya nangyari. Then it fell off the table. And then the second option, we're like, okay, waiting. Also, they changed their mind. So you're left with a couple scenarios that aren't really your number one priority. So you choose what's best for you, and that's what we did. To describe more specifically why the trades why the picks. I think it's very crucial that we jumped up one spot in this year's draft to number 6. Even though most people kind of look at it as, it's not much, you're not, it's not like you're jumping to the 2 spot. We've identified as a coaching staff that there are 6 solid players, 6 solid marquee players who we feel can play right away and contribute right away. So to be in that top 6, I think, and get any one of the 6 will be best for us. So that's why we did it. We felt like, that's going to give us a strong opportunity. And I said it earlier, a strong opportunity to possibly, get either Santillan, Adamos, if they pass on Williams, if they pass on Oftana, then one of those guys is going to fall into our lap. So, that and being able to have their first round next year, knowing that there are a lot of young players who still haven't entered the draft, gives us again another high possibility of getting another high draft pick next year. So yeah, we felt like with that trade, it was best for us.
And you also mentioned that having Brian, the PBA adding Brian to the mix might be a blessing in disguise for Alaska. How's that gonna help you, a player like Brian Heruela?
Yeah, when you think about your roster, obviously there's a number you want to reach in regards to roster spots, right? Position. Then from there, you think about positioning. I'm really looking forward to giving an opportunity for JC to play a little bit more of a backup role. We're gonna kind of give the reins to Maverick and have him kind of lead us. JV is your reliable vet that you have, so we still have him. So we weren't really looking to add a point guard, but for this to happen, and the PBA did request for an additional asset um, for the trade to happen. So, I really believe I've always liked Brian. I spoke to him yesterday. I told him, I first gave him the honest truth on how things transpired, because I like to make sure they understand the situation they're coming in. And then, but I was also honest in telling him that I love the way he plays. I love his work ethic. I think he has an improved shot. His offense is a lot better. He's tough. We all know that. And he's your perfect kind of, backup point guard. So when you have a second thought on a guy like that, you think about it and be like, hey, he could be a blessing. And, I told him we'll really help him try to make this happen. But, we'll see how it goes.
Coach, does that mean he's not assured of a spot in the final roster for the coming conference at least?
Yeah, that's a tough question to answer, but it's the honest truth. And that's what I explained to him. I said, coming into this, before yesterday, this wasn't part of what we were expecting. So we have to kind of see what we can do to make it work. So as of right now, today, yes, it's still not unsure, but when you get him on a court, and I told him I want him to kind of surprise us and force us to be like, hey, coach, you got to sign me up. That's how I wanted him to approach, when he comes into practice with us.
So he's being given an opportunity to earn the spot. I just wanted to ask this about the Vic situation, because we know it's been all over the news the past month. By doing this trade, is it kind of a way for you guys to kind of smoothing it over, ensuring that you come into the next season with no drama, everything is on the up and up as you start your quest for the championship, the 15th championship.
Correct. I mean, you always want to, start the season or the conference, on a positive note. Um, I felt it would have been really challenging if he was forced to stay and he didn't want to stay. That's the difficult part of that. And I think that's one thing I think people should understand. He asked for the trade and he wanted out. So, it's not easy to hear on our side. It's never easy to kind of work things out where both are happy, but it is the truth, and we try to do our best to try to do what's best for, like I said, both parties. But yeah, you never want to begin a conference or a season with baggage, with extra baggage. It's already difficult trying to win. So, I think right now what's nice is there's clarity. There's a sense of, our path and where we want to go is a little bit clearer. And then we know we're starting to find out who the roster is going to be, or the team's going to be, and we could all together just kind of move forward. And I think that's the same for him also.
Coach, just an update. How is Kevin Raal and his recovery?
He's well into his rehab, but he isn't running yet. Um, he is on the sideline doing exercises with our trainers. So I don't expect him to be able to join us this All Filipino, but we're hoping that the next conference, hopefully there's a second conference. he should be able to join us. So yeah, that's the status there.
And coach, it's not just the players who who moved in this off season. Coach Chot returning
Yeah,
to talk to
yeah.
Tex. What are your thoughts on that? And possibly matching wits against him, a five-time
Oh,
coach of the year.
yeah. Gosh, he's I can't say enough of how much respect I have for Coach Chot. He's gonna make that team a lot better, I think. Wherever he goes, it's always a strong and a competitive team, if not a champion team. So I'm looking forward to the challenge. Um, I do love the fact, though, and this is an interesting fact, that when he came in, there were quotes from Coach Tim and Coach Norman, Coach Yang. What's nice on my end is, except for Coach Yang, I only played for him one time, and that was for an All-Star game. But I played for Coach Norman. I played for Coach Tim, obviously, and I also played for Coach Chut at Cope. So to be able to kind of face him on this level and is really, really exciting on my end. So, but I'm not gonna show them I'm so excited now. But yeah, that's something I'm really looking forward to. But like I said, basketball is basketball. It's a fun game, and we're really up for the challenge. So Alaska is really excited.
Has Sonny retired, or is he just not playing
Oh
because?
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. I'm not sure what this guy's doing. No, I'm just joking. Sonny concern is obviously being safe enough for him to play. So I don't know if there's going to be a vaccine in time for the for the next conference. So he said unless there's a vaccine, he's probably not going to play. It's been over a year already, and he was already tiptoeing whether retire or not. So you can already make your guesses there. Has it been official yet? Not yet. Diba? Hindi pa niya ina-announce. But I think he's leaning towards it. I told him I don't want to pressure him. I spoke to him maybe about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I don't want to pressure him. Do what's best for you. But the way I'm looking at it, if he hasn't played now, it's been over a year, he might be already close to it. So, but yeah, we still hope to do something for him, whether it's honoring his jersey number or something. But we want to do something special for Sonny because I think he deserves it.
Looking forward to your game against Coach Shot.
Yeah. So I have to dress well. You know how he dresses well, right? I have to look good that game.
Thank you for your
Coach,
time,
thank
Coach
you very
Jeff.
much.
Thank you for having me.